Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversational English, the podcast where we chat about everyday topics to help you learn natural English. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Taylor. Today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, travel. We'll share our experiences, talk about planning trips, and discuss what we love and hate about traveling.
That's right. So, Taylor, let's start with the basics. Do you like to travel?
Oh, absolutely. I love exploring new places. But you know what? The planning part can be really stressful sometimes.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Like booking flights, finding hotels, figuring out what to pack. It's a lot.
Right, exactly. And don't even get me started on packing. I always pack way too much stuff. Last time I traveled, my suitcase was so heavy I could barely lift it.
Oh no, that's the worst.
I'm actually the opposite. I'm a light packer. I try to bring just one carry-on bag if possible.
Really? How do you do that?
Well, I make a list first. I write down everything I really need, like clothes for the weather, my phone charger, important documents like my passport and boarding pass.
That makes sense.
And then I just stick to the list. No extra shoes, no just-in-case items.
That's smart. So, what's your favorite destination you visited?
Hmm, that's a tough question. I really loved Tokyo. The food was incredible. The people were so friendly, and there was so much to see and do.
Oh, wow, Tokyo? I've always wanted to go there. What was the best part?
Probably the temples and gardens. They were so peaceful and beautiful.
Nice.
And the sushi. I must have eaten sushi every day I was there.
That sounds amazing. For me, I think my favorite trip was to Barcelona. The architecture was just breathtaking, especially the Sagrada Familia Church.
Nice. I've heard Barcelona is beautiful. Did you do a lot of sightseeing?
Oh, yes. We walked everywhere. We visited museums, took tours, sat in cafes. I love that about European cities. You can just walk around and discover new things.
Right. Exactly. That's one thing I love about traveling. Just wandering around and seeing what you find.
Totally. Though I have to say, sometimes the actual traveling part can be exhausting, like long flights, waiting at airports, dealing with jet lag.
Oh, don't remind me about airports. Last month, I had a 3-hour delay, and then they lost my luggage.
No way. That's terrible. What did you do?
Well, I had to fill out forms at the customer service desk, and then I went shopping for new clothes.
Oh no.
Luckily, they found my suitcase the next day and delivered it to my hotel.
At least they found it. That's my biggest fear when traveling, losing my luggage with all my stuff in it.
Yeah, it's really stressful. But you know what? Despite all these little problems, I still love traveling.
Right.
The good experiences always outweigh the bad ones.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're standing in front of something amazing like the Eiffel Tower or walking on a beautiful beach.
Right. All those airport problems just disappear.
Exactly. And meeting new people, trying different foods, learning about other cultures, that's what makes it all worth it.
Speaking of food, have you ever had any really strange or unusual dishes while traveling?
Oh, yes. When I was in Thailand, I tried fried insects. They were actually not bad, kind of crunchy and salty.
Wow, you're braver than me. I don't think I could do that.
You know, I always try to have an open mind when I travel. I figure, when will I get another chance to try something like that?
That's a great attitude. I'm usually more conservative with food, but I do love trying local specialties.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Italy, I had the most amazing pasta, completely different from anything I'd had at home.
Oh, Italian food is incredible. What about accommodations? Do you prefer hotels or other options?
It depends on the trip. For business travel, I usually book a hotel because it's convenient and they have room service.
Right.
But for vacation, I sometimes stay in hostels or rent apartments.
Hostels can be fun, especially when you're young and want to meet other travelers.
Yeah, though I have to admit, now that I'm older, I appreciate having my own bathroom and a comfortable bed.
I know exactly what you mean. Comfort becomes more important as you get older. So, what's next on your travel bucket list?
I really want to visit New Zealand. I've seen so many beautiful photos of the mountains and lakes there. It looks like a nature lover's paradise. What about you?
For me, I'm thinking about South America, maybe Peru or Chile. I'd love to see Machu Picchu and experience the Andes Mountains.
Oh, that sounds incredible. Adventure travel is so exciting. Though I have to say, I'm getting a little nervous about long flights these days.
Yeah, those long flights can be really tough. Do you have any tips for dealing with long flights?
Well, I always bring entertainment, books, music, downloaded movies on my tablet. And I try to get up and walk around every few hours to stretch my legs.
Good advice. I also bring a neck pillow and try to dress comfortably. And staying hydrated is super important.
Yes, but not too much water, or you'll spend the whole flight waiting in line for the bathroom.
Speaking of travel tips, what about money? Do you have any advice for handling finances when you're abroad?
Oh, that's such an important topic. I always notify my bank before I travel so they don't freeze my card when they see foreign transactions. And I try to carry some local cash, but not too much in case it gets stolen.
Smart. I've learned to research the exchange rates beforehand and set a daily budget for myself. It's so easy to overspend when everything feels like vacation money, you know?
Exactly. And I always keep track of my expenses. I use a travel app on my phone to log what I spend each day. Plus, I've found that using a credit card with no foreign transaction fees saves money in the long run.
That's great advice. Now, what about language barriers? Have you ever been to a place where you didn't speak the language at all?
Oh, yes. When I went to South Korea, I knew maybe 5 words in Korean. It was challenging, but also kind of fun, trying to communicate with gestures and pointing, and people were so patient and helpful.
That's so true. Most people are really understanding. I always try to learn a few basic phrases before I go, like hello, thank you, and excuse me. And translation apps are lifesavers now. I can just point my phone at a menu and it translates everything.
Technology really has made traveling easier. What about cultural differences? Have you ever experienced any culture shock?
Oh, definitely. The first time I went to Japan, I was so confused by all the bowing and the complicated etiquette rules, like taking off your shoes in some places but not others, and there were so many different ways to say thank you depending on the situation.
I know what you mean, but I think that's part of what makes travel so interesting. Learning how different societies work. I remember in some Middle Eastern countries, I had to learn about appropriate dress codes and greeting customs. It was educational.
Absolutely. Speaking of being prepared, let's talk about safety. Do you do any special research about safety when you're planning a trip?
Oh, yes. I always check the government travel advisories for any country I'm visiting, and I research which neighborhoods are safe to walk around in, especially at night. I also make sure someone back home knows my itinerary.
That's smart. I always make copies of my important documents, passport, ID, credit cards, and keep them separate from the originals. And I never carry all my money in one place. I split it between my wallet, my bag, and sometimes I hide some in my luggage.
Those are excellent tips. You know, another thing I've learned is that timing really matters. Do you think about the best season to visit places?
Oh, definitely. I made the mistake once of going to Southeast Asia during rainy season. It poured rain almost every day. Now I always check the weather patterns and try to avoid hurricane seasons, monsoons, or extreme temperatures.
Right. And I've discovered that shoulder seasons, like late spring or early fall, can be perfect. The weather is usually good, but there are fewer tourists and everything is cheaper. Plus, you can actually get good photos without crowds of people in the background.
That's such a good point. Before we start wrapping up, I have to ask, what are your must-have travel apps? Technology has really changed how we travel.
Oh, I have so many. Google Maps is essential. I download offline maps before I go, so I don't get lost without internet. I also love apps for public transportation, currency converters, and weather forecasts. And airline apps are great for checking flight status and mobile boarding passes.
Yes, and don't forget restaurant review apps and translation apps we mentioned earlier. Oh, and I always download some entertainment, podcasts, audiobooks, or music for those long travel days when you need something to pass the time.
Perfect. One last thing I'm curious about. Do you prefer traveling solo or with other people? I know some people love the independence of solo travel, while others prefer the shared experiences of group trips.
I actually enjoy both. Solo travel gives you so much freedom. You can change plans on a whim, spend as much time as you want somewhere, and you're more likely to meet locals and other travelers. But group travel is fun too, especially with close friends or family. You have people to share the memories with, and it can feel safer in unfamiliar places.
That's a great point. I tend to prefer small groups, maybe 2 to 4 people. Large groups can be challenging because everyone has different interests and energy levels. But you're right about solo travel. There's something liberating about being able to follow your own schedule and instincts.
Exactly. Well, we've covered so much ground today, from planning and budgeting to safety tips and travel apps. This has been such a comprehensive discussion about travel. Huh, true. I think our listeners learned a lot of useful vocabulary and expressions.
Definitely. We covered everything from planning and packing to sightseeing and trying new foods. I hope everyone feels more confident talking about travel in English now.
For sure. That's a wrap for today's episode of Conversational English. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And don't forget to join us next time when we'll be talking about food and cooking. Until then, keep practicing your English and don't forget to like and subscribe.